What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with some training camp winners and losers. Now, a couple quick notes to get out of the way before we start jumping into some winners here. It's training camp, so it's a step up from OTAs and minicamp, no doubt about it. But if you're a loser, you're not really a big loser. We just got to balance out the equation. Also, I didn't include big stars like Russell Wilson because of course, he's going to be a winner. I kind of went for some other players that probably aren't getting enough recognition, and I wanted you guys to get informed on them. And we have shout-outs coming your way. But that's all the housekeeping notes. Let's jump into our first training camp winner, Montrell Washington, the rookie return specialist picked out of Samford, who has probably been the biggest rookie star so far. So like I said, he was drafted in the 5th round of this past NFL draft, and initially everyone was like, oh, okay, this is the next Holiday, right? This is the next return guy to jumpstart what's been a rather disappointing special teams unit for a handful of seasons. Washington's going, actually, I can do more than just kickoffs and punt returns. I can help out in the receiving game. And he's been making a lot of big plays for Russell Wilson. And that's gotten notarized, all right? Hackett, head coach, he's picked up on this. Here's what he said. He has worked so hard. I don't think anybody really knew where he was going to put himself within the wide receiver rotation. He is a guy that Russell has latched onto and really tried to push with the rookies being around here. We have more for Hackett actually as well, because Hackett didn't just stop right there and offer those kind of compliments, okay? Here's what else he said. The goal is for him to just grow because it is so different. Coming from where he's been, he's grasping a lot, and he's made a bunch of good plays around here. He had a great play at the end there. We're excited. He's going to have to step up. At the end, he is referring to Tim Patrick going down with an injury. Listen, everyone, I'm not just getting drunk on Montrell Washington. I am getting hammered on the Montrell Washington hype train right now. This is probably my biggest issue as a football fan. I read way too much into training camp, for better or for worse, and then the regular season rolls around, and I kind of get slapped in the face a little bit of, oh yeah, 5th-round picks don't tend to make huge splash plays in week 1, but it feels different this time. Like, Montrell Washington has looked that guy. He has looked like the deep threat, the stretch receiver. I hate the cliche, but the Tyler Lockett that Russell Wilson's looking for here in Denver. So let's welcome him to Broncos country by spamming his jersey number 12 down in the comments section below. That way he feels the love coming his way, as he's been making a ton of great plays so far during training camp. My next training camp winner, I kind of cheated. I had to go with this star. This is the last big star here. It's Patrick Surtain. The guy has looked incredible. If you thought he peaked last year, which I don't know how you could, even as a rookie, he had teach tape, is what Richard Sherman said. He has been incredible so far. He has been making life miserable for the offense. I don't want to overshadow players like Justin Simmons, who's also made good plays, and Ronald Darby, but PS2, the guy's a gamer, all right? He is not making life easy for new offensive coordinator Justin Outen. Here's what he said about Patrick Surtain. I'll go over to him each and every day and say, can you let us complete a pass, please? Just once. It is a very, very good defense. We get tested daily. There's a lot to love about how this defense is shaping up, which is why you should subscribe to the channel, because if you're ready for real Broncos football, because here's the deal, I am not a believer of training camp is the sign of football is back. No, football will be back Monday night, week 1 in Seattle at Lumen Field. Until then, it's all just appetizers and whatnot. But make sure you subscribe if you're looking for a Broncos YouTube channel for the entire 2022 season. My next training camp winner, sticking it on the defensive side, it's Baron Browning, the 3rd-round pick out of Ohio State last year, who made the transition from inside linebacker to outside linebacker. And I was a bit of a critic because, like many of you, I looked around and I went, there's a lot of outside linebackers, right? You have no real shortage. If you have Malik Reed as a bubble candidate and he was your team sack leader 2 years ago, why are you moving a position of need to a position you have plenty of depth at? Well, that's why I'm not a coach and Hackett and Peyton are in charge, because he's been a rock star so far. I mean, if it was game conditions, he would have had multiple sacks thus far in training camp. He's been rotating with the first team defense. He is definitely bringing some competition to Nick Bonito, who I think a lot of people penciled in as that third edge rusher, right? Because it feels a little bit inevitable. If Gregory or Chubb goes down, knock on wood, for at least some time this season, they're like, oh, Bonito will be the next guy up. Not so fast. Watch for Baron Browning. Next training camp winner is Courtland Sutton. This is promising because I think a lot of us were wondering, who's Russell Wilson going to latch on to, right? Who is Russ's going to be his go-to guy? And it looks like it's Courtland Sutton. Now, this is where I get way too high and drunk on training camp because then I kind of forget about Jerry Jeudy, and I don't want to do that. But Courtland Sutton is looking like it's, he's the teacher's pet. He's the favorite for Russell Wilson. And what's really kind of catching my eye is he's got an affinity for the deep ball, meaning I would have thought it would be a little bit more Courtland Sutton closer to the sticks, especially after Patrick went down, and Jeudy would be that deep threat X receiver. Courtland Sutton is making plays. I mean, Zach Stevens, who's boots on the ground, they are tweeting out Russell Wilson with his best day of camp so far. This was August 4th, so just yesterday. Had a few touchdowns in red zone period and capped practice off with an 80-yard touchdown drive with less than 2 minutes left, including a 35-yard completion to Courtland Sutton on 4th and 4. I watched the video. It was surreal. I mean, he just went over the top and just hauled it in over Ronald Darby. It was a great play. So, I hate that I have to ask this question with only 2 candidates, but that is the reality of the situation now. Who is your leading receiver in 2022? If you went with 81, let me know if you're picking 14 or 10 now, Sutton or Jeudy. God, I wish I could have 3 names on screen. That's a real bummer. 5th and final training camp winner, I'm going to go with Calvin Anderson. Michael Wilson, who's frequently in the comment section, said, hey, you got to go look at this Athletic article about Calvin Anderson and check it out. Because the guy, for a backup last year, he's playing like a starter right now. In fact, he's getting the starting right tackle reps. With Billy Turner still on the PUP list, remember he's dealing with that knee injury, which he failed a physical in Green Bay, and that's why he got released. And I was a person of the camp of, I'm not all that sold on how this right tackle room is shaping up to be. Now, in June and July, that wasn't much of a concern. Now it's August, and I want to see some improvement. Calvin Anderson's bringing it. So Nick Kosmita over at the Kosmita at the Athletic writing up saying, Anderson views himself as Denver's starting right tackle. Even as a battle looms at some point with Billy Turner, the free agent acquisition with history and coach Nathaniel Hackett's offense, who is on the physically unable to perform list as he rehabs a leg injury. It's why when Anderson re-signed with the Broncos on a 1-year deal in March, he made no secret about his desire to lock down the starting job at a position that has been a revolving door for Denver during much of the past decade. Since then, he has received all of the first-team reps at right tackle during OTAs and the first 7 practices of training camp. Here's what I'm going to say about this. I'm not going to be all the way in just because Calvin Anderson is getting first-team reps during training camp. It's a little easier when you get to go up against some backup edge rushers. There's no Randy Gregory out there right now. Sure, you get some doses of Bradley Chubb here and there, but you also get a lot of UDFAs coming at you, which kind of can improve your stock a little bit. But it's still a big question mark. Who's going to be the starting right tackle come week 1? Let you guys decide. Put the jersey number for the player you think will be on Russell Wilson's right side of the line come week 1 in Seattle. Billy Turner or Calvin Anderson, because at this point, kind of feels like it's not Turner's job when he returns. It's a battle between himself and the former UDFA out of Texas. All right, next up on the show, we are going to look at some training camp losers. Don't take it too seriously. It's training camp. It's still August 5th. We're not even like after preseason week 1 yet, where you start to get a better sense of who's really going up and down in the the stock room. But before we do, I just want to give some shout outs to some new subscribers here at the channel. So I can't pronounce that first name, but Rodriguez is new, Kurt's new, Jack Attack, Cameron King, My Broncos 15, Andrew Pepper, Scott Cannon, Gutter Matt, Russell, and then the last one's a tough first name, so we're going to call you Martinez. Shout out to all of you and everyone else that has recently subscribed. This is what we do here at the channel. It's a two-way conversation. We love to get your guys' name and pictures up on screen. An easy way to do that, hit that sub button. First training camp loser, Jeudy. It's not really a big loser. It's just that Courtland Sutton is emerging as Russell Wilson's go-to guy, which kind of makes Jeudy a bit of a loser. He's not having a bad camp. That's not what this is about here. It's not Jeudy is injured or he's dropping balls like it's his rookie year again. No, that is not the point of this. It's just that Courtland Sutton is kicking ass right now, which means Jeudy is not the most loved receiver. Next loser, fantasy football. All right, I'm not even going to identify a single running back, but if you were in the camp of can't wait to draft Javonte Williams in my league this year in round 2, he's going to be getting a lion's share of the carries and he's going to dominate, pump the brakes a little bit. All right, Benjamin Albright tweeting out the Broncos' first-team running back split for reps between Williams and Gordon has not been 70-30. Per reps charts, it's 54-46. Now, Javonte Williams has looked great in camp. He has been running with the first-team offense. He is the starter. That's not the question here. It's just how many snaps will Melvin Gordon steal from Williams, because Hackett doesn't give a shit about fantasy. He wants to keep his running backs fresh, and he'll rotate them, and he'll do what's best for his team, and that's good for you as well. But if you were in the camp of, I love the Broncos, and I want a Broncos running back on my team, Williams might be a bit underwhelming if Gordon steals a lot of, carries from him. So let me know this. Will you be drafting Javonte Williams in fantasy? I was planning on, if he was there round 2 late, I was going to snatch him before someone like Saquon Barkley. Now I'm a bit cautious because I don't want to take a running back who's got a vulture behind him like Melvin Gordon. Third and final loser, it's Billy Turner. I don't like to call people who are injured losers, and it's not even because he's injured. It's more so because he's going to be walking into a real battle for his job, which I think everyone kind of penciled in. No matter what, it's Billy Turner. Now, he's still on the PUP list with that knee injury, like we mentioned earlier, and I'm wondering, will he be ready by week 1? Is this going to be a foregone conclusion that once Turner's healthy, he just steps right into that right tackle spot? I'm guessing if Calvin Anderson looks the part through a couple preseason games, they're not just going to hand it right over to Turner, who isn't this, world-renowned starting right tackle. You know what I mean? It's not like it's Trent Williams getting healthy. Of course, he's going to get his job back. No, you're going to have a real battle on your hands, Billy. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on the field soon, and that knee injury will clear up and he'll be ready to go, because let the cream rise to the top, right? Get some competition in and let the best player win that position. Before we get on out of here, if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and make sure you do so. We're going to be giving you guys Broncos training camp updates throughout the entire month of August, all the way up until the regular season. So if that's something you're looking for, hit that sub button.